Hello, and welcome, dear friend, to Sleepy Wiki. Find a comfortable spot, perhaps letting your shoulders gently drop, and simply notice your breath, slow and steady, as you settle in. Tonight we're going to drift into a concept as ancient as human wonder itself, the captivating, sometimes bewildering idea of time travel. It's a whisper from our deepest dreams, a philosophical puzzle woven into the very fabric of our understanding of existence. From the quiet longing to revisit a cherished moment, to the grand visions of traversing millennia, the notion of moving through time has always fascinated us. We won't rush through its complexities. Instead, we'll gently explore its quiet currents, its intriguing paradoxes, and its hopeful imaginings, allowing our minds to unwind as we consider these profound ideas. If you find these quiet journeys helpful in guiding you towards a restful slumber, a gentle like or a soft subscription truly helps our little sleepy corner grow, allowing more weary minds to find their way here. Now, let us begin our quiet contemplation as we softly step into the gentle flow of time itself. Let's turn our minds to the truly remarkable ideas that spring from the very fabric of our universe, the theoretical foundations that whisper promises of time travel. Imagine, if you will, that time isn't just a river flowing ever onward, but something more akin to a vast, shimmering ocean, where currents can sometimes bend, swirl, or even loop back upon themselves. For centuries, time felt like an unyielding master, a constant drumbeat marching forward for everyone, everywhere. But then came a brilliant mind, a dreamer with a keen understanding of physics, Albert Einstein. He gently nudged our understanding, revealing that time isn't quite the absolute universal ticker we once believed. His special theory of relativity, introduced early in the 20th century, unveiled a breathtaking truth. Time is relative. It dances with motion. Think of it like this. If you were to embark on a journey aboard a magnificent, super-fast spaceship, accelerating to speeds incredibly close to the speed of light, not quite there, but almost, something peculiar would happen. For you, inside the vessel, time would feel perfectly normal. Your heart would beat at its usual rhythm, your thoughts would flow as always, and a minute on your watch would still be 60 seconds. But for someone watching you from Earth, your clock, and indeed your very being, would appear to be moving more slowly. This phenomenon, known as time dilation, means that if you were to travel near light speed for what felt like just a few years to you, and then return to Earth, you would find that decades had passed for your friends and family. They would have aged far more than you. In a very real sense, you would have traveled into your own future. This isn't science fiction. It's a proven fact, observed in tiny particles in laboratories and accounted for in the satellites that power our GPS systems. Time, you see, isn't a single rigid track. It's more like a series of parallel paths, each moving at a slightly different pace depending on how fast you're going. But Einstein's genius didn't stop there. He later expanded his ideas with the general theory of relativity, which presented an even more profound vision of time and space. He taught us to imagine space and time not as separate entities, but as an inseparable four-dimensional tapestry, which he called space-time. Picture this space-time as a vast, invisible trampoline stretched taut across the cosmos. Now imagine placing a heavy bowling ball onto this trampoline. What happens? The fabric dips and curves around it, doesn't it? That bowling ball represents a massive object like a star or a planet. And just as the trampoline fabric curves, so too does space-time bend and warp under the influence of mass and energy. We perceive this warping as gravity. It's not a mysterious force pulling us down. It's the curvature of space-time itself, guiding our paths. Now, here's where it gets truly fascinating for our exploration of time travel. If space-time can be warped, then time itself, being an integral part of this fabric, can also be bent. Just as immense gravity can slow down a clock, as we see near black holes where time crawls almost to a halt, imagine if this curvature could be so extreme, so profound, that it could connect distant points in space-time in entirely new ways. This leads us to the captivating concept of Planck's wormholes, sometimes called Einstein-Rosen bridges. Envision our universe as a flat sheet of paper. If you want to get from one side to the other, you'd have to traverse the entire distance. But what if you could fold that paper, bringing two far-off points right next to each other, and then punch a hole through both layers? That hole would be a wormhole, a theoretical shortcut through the very fabric of space-time. While originally conceived as tunnels connecting different points in space, physicists have mused that under certain extraordinary conditions, these cosmic tunnels might also connect different points in time. Traveling through a wormhole could, in theory, transport you not just to a distant galaxy, but perhaps to a different era, a different moment in the universe's long story. However, the creation and stabilization of a traversable wormhole poses immense challenges. To keep such a cosmic tunnel open and prevent it from collapsing the instant it forms, current theories suggest we would need something truly extraordinary: Planck's exotic matter. This isn't just any matter. It's a hypothetical substance with negative energy density, a kind of anti-gravity for space-time, pushing outward rather than pulling inward. We haven't observed anything like it in our universe, and whether it can even exist in a stable, usable form remains a profound mystery. But let's venture even further into the theoretical wilderness, to the most audacious notion of all: traveling to the past. This is where the concept of closed time-like curves, or CTCs, enters our imagination. Imagine a path through space-time that, if you followed it, would eventually lead you right back to where, or more accurately, when you started. It's like embarking on a journey that loops back on itself, not just in space, but in time. Such curves are theoretically permitted by general relativity under extreme conditions, perhaps within the intense gravitational fields of rapidly spinning black holes, or near hypothetical cosmic strings, incredibly dense, narrow filaments of energy left over from the early universe. If you could enter a CTC, you might, in principle, emerge at an earlier point in your own personal timeline. Now, this idea immediately raises a host of fascinating and mind-bending questions, most notably the dreaded paradoxes. The most famous, of course, is the our grandfather paradox. If you traveled to the past and prevented your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you would never be born. But if you were never born, you couldn't have traveled to the past to prevent their meeting in the first place. A logical tangle, isn't it? It's like trying to draw a line that both exists and doesn't exist at the same time, shattering the fundamental principle of causality, that an effect cannot precede its cause. Physicists, being clever folk, have proposed several ingenious ways to navigate these paradoxes, or perhaps to suggest why time travel to the past might be inherently impossible. One intriguing idea is the Novikov self-consistency principle. This principle suggests that if time travel to the past were possible, then any actions a time traveler took in the past would inevitably be consistent with the known history. In other words, you could never actually change the past. If you tried to prevent your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, some unforeseen event, perhaps a comical series of mishaps, would always intervene to ensure their meeting, preserving the timeline as it always was. It's as if the universe itself has a built-in mechanism to prevent contradictions, ensuring that free will doesn't shatter the very foundations of causality. Your journey to the past would merely be an integral, predestined part of that past itself. And then there's the more conservative, yet perhaps more reassuring, chronology protection conjecture, proposed by the brilliant Stephen Hawking. This conjecture posits that the laws of physics themselves conspire to prevent time travel to the past on a macroscopic scale. Perhaps the immense energy required to create a CTC would always be unstable, collapsing before it could be used. Or maybe any attempt to manipulate space-time in such a way would trigger violent energy fluctuations that would destroy the time machine or the traveler long before a paradox could arise. It's almost as if the universe has a natural immune system protecting its own history from temporal meddling. So, while the theoretical foundations for time travel are rich with possibility, painting a wondrous picture of space-time as a malleable entity, the practicalities are staggering. The energy demands are colossal, the need for exotic matter is currently unmet, and the very stability of such constructs remains deeply uncertain. The universe, it seems, holds its secrets close, especially when it comes to rewriting history. Yet, the pursuit of these theories, these grand ideas, pushes the boundaries of our understanding of the universe. It forces us to ask profound questions about causality, destiny, and the very nature of existence. It's a journey not just through time, but through the limitless expanse of human curiosity. As we drift deeper into the quietude of the night, we've explored how time, as we know it, is not a simple, unyielding river, but a cosmic ocean full of potential bends and currents. In the gentle stillness that follows, we might ponder not just the possibility of traversing time, but also the profound beauty of its relentless forward march, carrying us all, moment by moment, into the unfolding mystery of the future. As we drift deeper into the quietude of the night, we've explored how time, as we know it, is not a simple, unyielding river, but a cosmic ocean full of potential bends and currents. Having seen these physical foundations, we might now ponder the deeper philosophical questions about time's very nature. Now let's gaze a little closer at this river, not just its surface, but its very nature, asking questions that have whispered through the minds of thinkers for millennia. What is time, truly? And how does one event nudge another into being? Imagine, if you will, a single solitary spotlight sweeping across a vast, dark stage. Only where the light touches, right now, is anything truly real. The moments that have passed, the scenes already played, are gone, vanished into memory's echoes. The moments yet to come, the acts still unwritten, are mere possibilities, not yet brought into being. This quiet, intuitive feeling, this sense that only the present is truly real, is a philosophical idea we call presentism. It feels so natural, doesn't it? Like the breath we just took, now part of the past, or the one we're about to take, still awaiting its turn. But now, let your imagination stretch further, like the boundless cosmos itself. What if that stage isn't dark at all? What if every single moment, every scene, every act, from the very beginning to the farthest reaches of the future, already exists, laid out like a magnificent, unchanging cosmic tapestry? This profound, yet perhaps startling idea is known as eternalism, or sometimes the block universe. In this view, our perception of time flowing is merely us, the conscious observers, moving through this pre-existing fabric, much like flipping through the pages of an immense, completed book. Every page, every now, is equally real, equally present, in a sense, even if we can only experience them one at a time. And here, dear listeners, is where the gentle whispers of philosophy meet the elegant equations of science. The block universe isn't just a philosopher's musing, it finds a powerful, albeit abstract, embrace in the framework of Albert Einstein's special relativity. Einstein taught us that time isn't a universal ticking clock for everyone. Instead, time and space are woven together into a single, seamless fabric called space-time. Imagine a vast, four-dimensional ocean where our three familiar spatial dimensions are interwoven with time as the fourth. In this ocean, there's no single universal now that applies to everyone in the universe. Events that are simultaneous for you, sitting peacefully, might not be simultaneous for someone else speeding past Earth in a spaceship. This concept, the relativity of simultaneity, means there's no absolute cosmic moment we all share. Furthermore, Einstein's theories predict time dilation. The astonishing fact that time itself can pass at different rates for different observers. An astronaut traveling close to the speed of light would age more slowly than their twin back on Earth. Their clock would literally tick slower. This isn't just science fiction. It's a rigorously tested fact, even accounted for in the precision of our GPS satellites. If time can stretch and shrink, if now is relative, it profoundly challenges our intuitive sense of time as a universally flowing river, lending weight to the idea that all moments might simply be fixed points within the larger framework of space-time. So, whether time is a fleeting spotlight or an eternal tapestry, there's another equally fundamental mystery entwined with it: causality. Think of it as the invisible thread that connects events, the quiet conversation between what just happened and what is about to happen. From the tiniest atom to the grandest galaxy, the universe seems to operate on the principle of cause and effect. A gentle push, the cause, makes a toy car roll, the effect. A cloud forms, cause, and rain falls, effect. This simple yet profound connection usually follows a strict temporal order. The cause always precedes the effect. You light a candle, then it glows. You pour water, then the glass fills. This natural, forward-moving chain of events is what gives time its inherent direction, what we sometimes call the arrow of time. We remember the past because causes have unfolded, leaving their effects imprinted on our minds and the world around us. We don't remember the future because those causes haven't yet acted. One of the most powerful scientific explanations for this arrow of time comes from a concept called entropy, a measure of disorder or randomness in a system. The Gauss second law of thermodynamics tells us that in any isolated system, entropy, disorder, always tends to increase over time. Imagine a carefully built sandcastle, low entropy, highly ordered. Over time, wind and waves will inevitably erode it, scattering the sand. High entropy, disordered. Causes tend to move things from a more ordered state to a more disordered one, creating a relentless, one-way path for time. You can't easily unmix cream from coffee or put Humpty Dumpty back together again. This irreversible tendency towards increasing disorder is, in many ways, the universe's internal clock, defining the direction of cause and effect. But what if this rule were bent? What if an effect could somehow precede its cause? This mind-bending notion, known as retrocausality, is where the idea of time travel truly begins to collide with our understanding of reality. If you could send a message back in time, for instance, what would prevent it from changing the very event that caused you to send the message? Such scenarios, often called paradoxes, make us question the very fabric of how the universe hangs together. For most of history, scientists leaned towards determinism, the idea that if we knew every single variable in the universe, we could predict every future event with absolute certainty, like an intricate clockwork mechanism. Every effect is perfectly determined by its cause. However, the strange, shimmering world of quantum mechanics, at the subatomic level, introduces a fascinating wrinkle. Here, events aren't always strictly predictable. They sometimes seem to unfold with an element of pure chance, a kind of inherent indeterminism. An atom might decay, or a particle might pop into existence, not because of a perfectly determined cause, but with a certain probability. This doesn't shatter the idea of causality entirely, but it certainly makes it more nuanced, adding layers of chance and possibility to the grand tapestry of cause and effect. It means the universe might not be quite as rigid as a giant clockwork, but perhaps more like a living, breathing entity with moments of unpredictable beauty. As we consider these profound ideas, whether time is a fleeting present or an eternal block, whether every event is strictly predetermined or tinged with quantum chance, and how causes relentlessly precede their effects, we begin to feel the immense weight of the questions surrounding time travel. For if we are to journey through time, we must first understand the very nature of time itself and the delicate dance of cause and effect. These profound questions about time's nature and causality's delicate dance prepare us for what comes next, the wondrous and sometimes bewildering paradoxes that arise when we dare to imagine breaking causality's golden rule. Having explored how cause and effect govern our reality, we now encounter the puzzles that emerge when these rules are challenged. Imagine, if you will, the delicate weave of time, not as a simple straight line, but as an intricate tapestry, each thread a moment, each color an event. When we speak of journeying through this tapestry, backward or forward, we inevitably brush against its most fascinating and sometimes most bewildering knots, the paradoxes. These aren't just clever riddles, dear listener. They are profound challenges to our understanding of cause and effect, the very bedrock of our reality. They ask, what happens when the beginning depends on the end, or when an action makes itself impossible? The most famous of these tangled threads is often called the grandfather paradox. Picture a quiet moonlit night. You, a curious explorer of time, decide to journey back, not to change grand events, but perhaps just to meet a distant ancestor, someone whose life story is part of your own very existence. You arrive in a past that feels almost like a dream, soft and muted. And then, a thought, a mischievous whisper of the wind suggests, what if you were to, quite inadvertently, prevent your own grandfather and grandmother from ever meeting? This isn't about ill intent, no, but perhaps a simple accidental mishap, a slight detour that prevents a chance encounter. Or maybe you offer a piece of advice that subtly alters a decision crucial to their union. If their meeting is thwarted, then your parents would never be born. And if your parents were never born, then neither would you. And if you were never born, how could you have traveled back in time to prevent their meeting in the first place? It's like trying to cut the branch you're sitting on, only to find that cutting it means you were never there to sit on it. The very act of preventing your past self's existence creates a logical vacuum, a fundamental contradiction that unravels the entire thread of causality. The universe, in its elegant mathematics, seems to abhor such empty spaces. This paradox, at its heart, challenges the fundamental principle of causality itself, the idea that every effect must have a cause, and that cause must precede the effect. Here, the effect, you traveling back, becomes the cause of its own prevention, a loop that breaks before it can even begin. But time's mysteries run deeper than just preventing existence. Imagine another scenario, a different kind of knot, often called the bootstrap paradox, or an ontological paradox. Envision a solitary musician composing a haunting melody in their quiet studio. One day, a visitor from the future appears, holding a worn, ancient sheet of music. The visitor explains that this music is a timeless masterpiece, a melody from the past, and offers it to the composer, then vanishes. The composer, inspired, plays the tune, perfects it, and eventually publishes it. It becomes immensely popular, cherished through generations. Centuries later, a new musician, enchanted by this same timeless melody, decides to travel back in time, carrying a copy of the sheet music to ensure the original composer receives it, and thus the cycle continues. Now, pause and listen closely to the echo of that music. Where did that melody truly originate? It was given to the composer by someone from the future who received it from the past. It has no discernible point of creation, it simply is. It exists without an original author, without a first spark of inspiration. It pulls itself up, much like a person pulling themselves up by their own bootstraps without any external leverage. This isn't just about music. It could be a book, a piece of technology, or even a piece of information, a secret formula. An invention from the future is brought to the past, copied, and then the original source disappears or is forgotten. The copy then becomes the original that gets passed down through time. This paradox forces us to question the very nature of creation and information. Does all information need an origin? Or can it, in the deep currents of time, simply emerge, weaving itself into the fabric of existence without a single first thread? These self-sustaining loops extend further into what we call the predestination paradox. Here, attempts to change the past, far from altering it, inadvertently become the very instruments that ensure it unfolds precisely as it always did. Think of a hero traveling back to prevent a terrible fire that destroyed their family home. In their valiant efforts, perhaps by knocking over an oil lamp in their haste, they accidentally start the very fire they sought to prevent. Their journey wasn't to change the past, but to fulfill it. It's a cosmic dance, where free will seems to be an illusion, and every action, even a rebellious one, is merely another step in a pre-written script. These are sometimes referred to as causal loops, a closed sequence of events where each event is caused by another in the sequence, and the sequence itself has no external cause. It's like a Mobius strip of time where you can trace its surface endlessly, but never find a true beginning or end. Every effect is its own cause, eternally chasing its own tail. The existence of such profound paradoxes has led physicists and philosophers down fascinating pathways, seeking to understand how time might behave if such journeys were ever truly possible. One compelling idea, often linked to quantum mechanics, is the many worlds interpretation, or the multiverse theory. Imagine our reality not as a single flowing river, but as a vast ocean where, at every significant moment, every decision point, the river branches. Every potential outcome creates a new, distinct universe. So, in this grand cosmic library, if you were to travel back and, against all odds, manage to prevent your grandfather's meeting, you wouldn't erase yourself from your original timeline. Instead, you would merely branch off into a new universe, a parallel reality where you no longer exist, or perhaps where a different version of you emerged. Your original timeline, your personal river, would continue to flow untouched, separate from the new tributary you created. This theory offers a beautiful escape from the knot of paradox, suggesting that all possibilities, all potential histories, exist simultaneously across an infinite array of universes. Another profound concept that grapples with these paradoxes is the Tau block universe theory. Imagine time not as something that flows, but as a vast, unchanging four-dimensional block, much like a cosmic sculpture. Every moment, past, present, and future, already exists, laid out and immutable. If this is true, then a time traveler isn't changing anything. They are simply visiting a different part of the block, much like opening a book to a different page. Any attempt to alter the past would already be part of the block's fixed history. In this view, paradoxes are simply impossible, because the future is already written, and any journey through time merely reveals what has always been. And then there's the Novikov self-consistency principle, named after the brilliant Russian astrophysicist Igor Novikov. This principle suggests that if time travel is possible, then paradoxes must be impossible. It posits that the very laws of physics would somehow conspire to prevent any event that would create a paradox. Any attempt to change the past would either fail or would inadvertently cause the very events it sought to prevent, just like in our predestination paradox. The universe, in its magnificent wisdom, would simply not allow the threads of its tapestry to become irreparably tangled. These intricate knots of logic and causality remind us that the nature of time is far more profound and mysterious than we often imagine. They are not merely intellectual games, but profound inquiries into the very fabric of existence, pushing the boundaries of what we consider possible and impossible. They invite us to ponder the countless possibilities that might reside within time's embrace and the unseen laws that might govern its flow. As we gently drift into the quiet darkness of the night, we'll continue our exploration, turning our thoughts now from the perplexing tangles of paradoxes to the fascinating theoretical mechanics of how such journeys might, one day, actually unfold. Let's imagine together the very pathways through time that science fiction has so vividly painted. As the stars above continue their silent ancient dance, we shift from paradoxes to possibilities, to the grand, ambitious mechanisms of how we might one day actually interact with time's currents. If time is indeed a river, as some philosophers have mused, then how might we build a vessel to navigate its currents, or even discover a hidden shortcut across its vast, flowing expanse? Our journey into these hypothetical mechanisms begins, as so many cosmic explorations do, with a whisper from the genius of Albert Einstein. His profound theory of general relativity, a shimmering tapestry woven from space and time, suggests that the universe is not a rigid stage upon which events unfold, but rather a dynamic, pliable fabric, a cosmic trampoline, if you will. And just as a bowling ball placed upon a trampoline creates a dip, so too does mass and energy, like stars and planets, warp this fabric of space-time around them. One of the most elegant yet mind-bending consequences of this warped fabric is something called time dilation. Imagine you have two identical, perfectly synchronized clocks. Now, place one of those clocks near a massive object, like a towering mountain or even a bustling city, where gravity's gentle hand is a little stronger. Keep the other clock far away, perhaps floating in the quiet emptiness of deep space. When you bring them back together after a long journey, you would find something extraordinary. The clock that experienced stronger gravity would have ticked just a tiny bit slower. It's as if time itself had slowed its pace for that clock, stretching out moments like warm taffy. This is gravitational time dilation. And it's not just a theory. It's a verified fact, so precise that our GPS satellites orbiting high above Earth must constantly adjust for it to ensure our navigation systems work correctly. Their clocks run ever so slightly faster than those on the ground, a subtle difference that grows significant over time. But gravity isn't the only sculptor of time's flow. Speed, too, has a curious effect. If one of our identical clocks were to embark on a journey at incredible velocities, nearing the cosmic speed limit of light, It would also experience time dilation. For the traveler on this super-fast clock, time would pass more slowly relative to someone who remained at rest. It's often illustrated with the famous twin paradox. Imagine one twin journeys to a distant star at near light speed while the other remains on Earth. When the traveling twin returns, they would have aged less than their stay-at-home sibling. The river of time simply flowed more gently for the swift voyager. While these effects allow us to travel into the future, albeit slowly, 1 second at a time, just at different rates for different observers, they don't offer a direct route backward or to specific past moments. To truly unlock the secrets of time travel in a more dramatic sense, we might need to do more than just ride time's currents. We might need to fold the fabric of space-time itself. This brings us to the mesmerizing, if highly speculative, concept of wormholes, sometimes referred to as Einstein-Rosen bridges. Imagine space-time as a flat sheet of paper. You're at one corner and your destination is at the opposite corner. The conventional way to get there is to walk all the way across the paper. But what if you could fold the paper so that the two corners touched? Then, you could simply poke a hole through both layers, creating a shortcut, a tunnel, that bypasses the vast distance. A wormhole is precisely this: a theoretical tunnel connecting two different points in space-time, potentially linking not just distant locations in space, but also different moments in time. However, these cosmic shortcuts come with a formidable challenge. Most theoretical wormholes are incredibly unstable, collapsing faster than a fleeting thought. To keep them open and traversable, to prevent them from winking out of existence before anything could pass through, physicists believe we would need something called exotic matter. This isn't just unusual or rare matter. It's matter with truly bizarre properties, such as negative energy density. While all the matter we know, from stardust to our own bodies, has positive energy, this exotic matter would possess a kind of anti-gravity effect, pushing space-time apart rather than pulling it in. It's like trying to hold open a collapsing tunnel. You need something incredibly powerful and utterly alien to our current understanding of the everyday universe to prop it up. Finding or even creating such matter remains firmly in the realm of science fiction. If we could stabilize a wormhole, then in principle, one end could be moved to a different gravitational field or accelerated to near light speed, creating a time difference between its two mouths. Stepping into one end and emerging from the other could then become a jump not just in space, but in time, leading to what physicists call closed time-like curves, CTCs. These are paths through space-time that loop back on themselves, allowing an object or a person to return to their own past. While mathematically permitted by general relativity under certain extreme conditions, CTCs are the very scenarios that give rise to the mind-bending paradoxes we often associate with time travel, like the infamous grandfather paradox. Wormholes aren't the only proposed method for generating these time loops. Imagine something even grander, yet equally theoretical. Cosmic strings. These aren't like the strings of a guitar, but immensely dense, incredibly thin, one-dimensional fault lines in the fabric of space-time itself, remnants from the fiery birth of the universe. If two such cosmic strings, perhaps as thin as an atom but trillions of miles long, were to whip past each other at nearly the speed of light, their immense gravitational fields could theoretically warp space-time in such a way as to create a CTC. Again, the sheer scale and conditions required make this a concept born of equations, not yet of observation. And then there's the truly audacious concept of the Alcubierre warp drive. Instead of folding space-time like a wormhole, this hypothetical drive would essentially create a bubble of warped space-time around a starship. It wouldn't propel the ship through space faster than light. Rather, it would contract space in front of the ship and expand space behind it. The ship itself would remain stationary within its local bubble, never exceeding the speed of light within its own frame. But the bubble itself, and thus the ship within it, would be carried across vast cosmic distances at what would appear to be faster than light speeds relative to an outside observer. It's like standing still on a magic carpet, while the carpet itself rushes forward, shortening the path ahead and lengthening the path behind. Once more, the catch is that familiar need for exotic matter with negative energy to create this warp bubble, along with energy requirements that defy our wildest dreams. So, as we drift through these fantastical landscapes of warped space-time, exotic matter, and theoretical cosmic tunnels, we see that the dream of time travel, for all its futuristic allure, is deeply rooted in the very physics that governs our universe. While the mechanisms remain hypothetical, requiring energies and substances far beyond our current grasp, they are not entirely banished from the realm of scientific possibility. They hover on the edge of what we understand, a testament to the incredible flexibility and mystery of space-time itself. These hypothetical mechanisms show us what might be theoretically possible. But to truly understand time's deepest secrets, we must venture even further, to the very edge of reality itself, where the quantum world begins to softly blur and reshape everything we thought we knew. This is the whispering world of quantum physics, a place so tiny, so fundamental, that its rules are more like a whimsical dream than the rigid certainties of our everyday lives. This is the whispering world of quantum physics, a place so tiny, so fundamental, that its rules are more like a whimsical dream than the rigid certainties of our everyday lives. Here, time isn't just a river flowing steadily forward. It's a shimmering, multifaceted tapestry, sometimes appearing to ripple, sometimes to fold, in ways that challenge our deepest intuitions. Imagine, if you will, a tiny subatomic particle, perhaps an electron or a photon, not as a solid little ball, but more like a sleepy, hazy cloud of potential. In our macroscopic world, a coin is either heads or tails. A light is either on or off. But in the quantum realm, before we ever peak, before we ever measure, these particles can exist in what scientists call a superposition of states. It's as if our tiny electron is simultaneously here and there, spinning both clockwise and counterclockwise, or our little light is both on and off, all at once. Like a lullaby, half-dreamed, where the melody isn't quite decided until your mind gently hums it into being. It's only when we interact with it, when our instruments or our consciousness reach out to observe it, that this misty cloud of possibilities seems to collapse. choosing just one definite state, as if the dream suddenly became a clear, singular thought. Now, ponder for a moment how this might touch upon time itself. If a particle can be in many places at once, in many states at once, could there be a whisper, a faint echo, that in some profound, as yet ununderstood way, allows for a particle to exist along multiple paths, through time simultaneously? Not literally traveling, not jumping from one moment to another, but rather as if its existence is spread out across a tiny, probabilistic network of moments until an interaction gently coaxes it into a definite timeline. It's like a tiny pebble dropped into a pond, creating ripples that spread in all directions, each ripple a potential outcome, until one specific ripple finally reaches the shore and becomes the real event. And even more astonishing is the phenomenon of quantum entanglement. Picture two tiny identical twins, perhaps two photons born from the same cosmic event. From that moment forward, they are forever linked, no matter how far apart they travel. One could be on Earth, the other speeding away towards a distant galaxy. Yet, if you measure a property of one, say its spin or polarization, the other twin, instantaneously, no matter the vast, unthinkable distance, will assume the perfectly correlated opposite property. There's no signal sent between them, no cosmic telegraph line connecting them faster than the speed of light. It's as if their fates were decided at the moment of their birth, and even across unimaginable voids of space and time, they dance in perfect, synchronized harmony. Albert Einstein himself found this so perplexing, so seemingly impossible, that he famously called it a spooky action at a distance. This spooky action challenges our very perception of time and space as separate entities. If two particles can communicate, or rather coexist in such an intimately linked way across light years without any time delay, it suggests that perhaps at the most fundamental level, space and time are not the unyielding, independent dimensions we perceive them to be. Could entanglement hint that past, present, and future are not as distinct as we experience them? That there's a deeper, timeless fabric beneath it all, where the threads of existence are woven together in ways we're only just beginning to comprehend? It's like two distant stars, seeming utterly separate in the night sky. Yet in truth, they are both part of the same grand ancient constellation, their light merely traversing different stretches of the cosmic ocean to reach our eyes. And then, we brush against an idea even more intriguing, though highly speculative and debated: quantum retrocausality. This isn't about sending messages back in time to change history, not in the way a time traveler might. Instead, at the infinitesimally small scale of quantum particles, some experiments and theoretical models cautiously suggest the possibility that a future measurement, an action taken in what we perceive as the future, might subtly influence the state or outcome of a particle in the past. It's like gently whispering a secret to the wind, and an echo returning from a time yet to be. Not a roar that alters the landscape, but a faint, almost imperceptible shift in the probabilities of how a quantum event might unfold. Imagine a tiny dice, already rolled and covered, its outcome seemingly fixed in the past. But perhaps, in this quantum dance, the decision to look at the dice in the future subtly influences the probability of what numbers were truly on top when it first landed, before anyone looked. It's a deeply counterintuitive thought, reminding us that at its heart, the quantum world often defies our common sense, urging us to embrace paradox and possibility. These quantum perspectives invite us to consider time not as an absolute fundamental entity, but perhaps as something emergent. Like the surface ripples on a vast, deep ocean, the flow of time we experience might not be the ocean itself, but rather a phenomenon that arises from the collective interactions of countless quantum events. In some theories of quantum gravity, time literally disappears from the fundamental equations, suggesting it might be an illusion, or at least a complex property that emerges from a more fundamental, timeless reality. This perspective, sometimes called the block universe by physicists considering relativity, paints a picture where past, present, and future all exist simultaneously, laid out like frames in a cosmic film reel. We simply experience our consciousness moving through these frames, creating the sensation of now and the flow of time. From this viewpoint, there is no before or after in a truly fundamental sense. There is only the vast, unchanging expanse of space-time where all moments coexist. While these quantum insights don't provide us with blueprints for a time machine to visit the dinosaurs or warn our past selves, they profoundly deepen our understanding of what time is. They reveal a universe far more mysterious and interconnected than we ever imagined, where reality itself might be far more flexible and probabilistic at its core. The strict, linear clockwork universe of classical physics gives way to a quantum tapestry where possibility, observation, and interconnectedness weave a story of time that is fluid, elusive, and profoundly beautiful. The journey into time then becomes not just about moving through moments, but about understanding the very nature of those moments themselves. As we let these profound ideas gently settle in our minds, a new question begins to glow in the darkness, like a distant star. We've explored how time travel might work, but even if we could traverse these cosmic currents, should we? This is where our journey into the ethical dilemmas of temporal intervention truly begins. A landscape as intricate and delicate as a spider's silken web, strung with the threads of cause and effect. This is where our journey into the ethical dilemmas of temporal intervention truly begins. A landscape as intricate and delicate as a spider's silken web, strung with the threads of cause and effect. Imagine time not as a single unyielding arrow, but as a vast ancient river flowing with an intricate network of tributaries and currents. Every event, every choice, every whisper in the past sends ripples through its waters, shaping the downstream flow. To reach into that river, to pluck out a single stone, even with the noblest of intentions, is to risk altering the very course of its journey. This inherent interconnectedness is at the heart of what physicists and philosophers ponder when they speak of causality, the unbreakable chain linking every action to its inevitable consequence. When we consider changing the past, we are contemplating a disruption of this fundamental principle, potentially unraveling the very fabric of existence itself. One of the most famous and perhaps most unsettling thought experiments in this realm is the grandfather paradox. Picture this. A time traveler journeys back in time and prevents their own grandparents from meeting, perhaps by subtly delaying a train or misplacing a letter. If their grandparents never meet, then their parent is never born, and by extension, the time traveler themselves never comes into existence. But if the time traveler never exists, how could they have gone back in time to prevent their grandparents from meeting in the first place? It's a loop that ties itself into an impossible knot, a logical inconsistency that threatens to shatter the very concept of a coherent timeline. The paradox doesn't just erase an individual. It challenges the very logic of cause and effect, suggesting that such an act would make the universe incoherent. But the ethical quandaries extend far beyond one's own familial line. Consider the butterfly effect, a concept borrowed from chaos theory, which beautifully illustrates the profound sensitivity of complex systems. The theory suggests that a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil could, over time, set off a tornado in Texas. While a poetic simplification, it highlights the scientific understanding that tiny, seemingly insignificant changes in initial conditions can lead to vastly different and unpredictable outcomes in dynamic systems. Apply this to the timeline. Even the smallest alteration, a dropped coin, a casual word, a averted glance, could propagate through history, echoing through generations, cascading into entirely unforeseen futures. A well-intentioned act, such as preventing a historical tragedy, might inadvertently create a future far worse, perhaps sparking a different, more devastating conflict or stifling a vital technological breakthrough that relied on the very tragedy you sought to erase. The sheer unpredictability makes any intervention a gamble of cosmic proportions. Then there's the ethical weight of simply knowing. What if you journeyed into the future and learned of a terrible event? Would you be morally obligated to intervene? And if you did, would you be acting on free will or merely fulfilling a predetermined destiny that included your intervention? This touches on the philosophical debate between determinism and free will. If the future is already set, perhaps our choices are illusions. But if we can change it, what does that imply about the nature of time itself? The very act of observing a potential future might, in a way, alter its probability, much like the observer effect in quantum mechanics, where the act of measurement influences the state of a particle. Some theoretical frameworks propose elegant solutions to these paradoxes. One notable concept is the Novikov self-consistency principle, named after Russian astrophysicist Igor Novikov. This principle suggests that if time travel to the past were possible, any events that transpired would be consistent. That is, paradoxes would be inherently impossible. Any attempt to alter the past would always result in the original outcome, or an outcome that leads back to the traveler's own existence. In this view, the universe itself acts as a kind of cosmic editor, ensuring that the timeline remains self-consistent, gently guiding events back to their established course. If you tried to prevent your grandparents from meeting, perhaps you'd merely delay their meeting or accidentally cause their meeting in a different, unforeseen way. Your intervention wouldn't erase your existence, but rather become an integral, perhaps even necessary part of the events that led to your own birth. While reassuring in its prevention of paradoxes, it introduces a different ethical dilemma. Does it imply a lack of true free will for the time traveler? Are we merely actors performing a pre-written play within the grand theater of space-time, unable to truly diverge from the script? Another fascinating and perhaps more ethically complex resolution lies in the idea of parallel timelines, or a multiverse. Here, any temporal intervention doesn't alter your original past, but rather branches off, creating an entirely new, divergent reality. You save the doomed ship, but in doing so, you've merely stepped into a new timeline where the ship was saved, leaving your original reality untouched, still scarred by the disaster. The ethical question then shifts. Are you obligated to the new timeline you've created, or to the one you left behind? Do you have the right to split realities, creating countless versions of history, each with its own joys and sorrows, simply because you wished for a different outcome in one instance? The sheer proliferation of potential suffering, or the abandonment of your original reality, presents its own profound moral maze. Consider the hubris. Who are we, fleeting beings on a tiny blue planet, to assume we possess the wisdom to mend the tapestry of time? Every scar in history, every difficult moment, every painful lesson has contributed to the present we inhabit. To erase suffering might also be to erase the resilience, the compassion, and the innovation that arose in response to it. The temptation to create a perfect past or future might, ironically, lead to a sterile, stagnant present, devoid of the very struggles that forge character and progress. The weight of such responsibility, the constant fear of unforeseen consequences, could be an unbearable burden for any single individual or even an entire civilization. So, as we contemplate these deep waters, these complex ethical currents, we begin to appreciate the immense responsibility inherent in even imagining temporal travel. It teaches us humility, perhaps, and a profound respect for the delicate, intricate unfolding of all that has been, all that is, and all that is yet to come. It whispers a cautionary tale about the allure of ultimate power, reminding us that some mysteries are perhaps best left undisturbed. But even with these heavy considerations, the human mind continues to dream, to wonder, and to search for answers. And perhaps, as we prepare to turn our gaze towards the very practicalities, or indeed the impossibilities, of building a machine to journey through these cosmic currents, we can bring with us this newfound respect for the timeline itself. Beyond the ethical quandaries lies another dimension of consequence. Not just the technical marvel of stepping through a portal into another epoch, but the quiet ripples that spread outwards through society and psyche. It's a question that reaches far beyond the elegant equations of space-time and delves into the very fabric of human existence. What happens when the river of time, once thought to flow irrevocably forward, can suddenly be navigated upstream, or even have its course subtly altered? Our societies are built upon the bedrock of a shared history, a collective narrative that gives meaning to our present and direction to our future. From the solemn scrolls of legal precedent to the vibrant traditions passed down through generations, everything we hold dear assumes a linear progression, an immutable past. But what if that past becomes mutable? The scientific concept of chaos theory teaches us that even the smallest change in a complex system can lead to vastly different outcomes over time, what's famously known as the butterfly effect. Imagine a solitary time traveler, perhaps with the best of intentions, subtly nudging a historical event, a whispered word, a forgotten object, a seemingly trivial interaction in the ancient past. That pebble dropped into the tranquil pool of history could, over centuries, create tsunamis in the present. Suddenly, foundational events might unravel, treaties might vanish, and entire civilizations might never have risen or fallen as our history books describe. The very concept of truth in history becomes a shifting mirage, dependent on the latest temporal excursion. Consider the delicate architecture of law and ethics. If a crime is committed in the past against an individual whose future self you now know, how is justice meted out? What of contracts signed in an era that, after a temporal adjustment, no longer exists? Property rights become a bewildering puzzle, as deeds from a forgotten timeline clash with those of the altered present. The very definition of identity, for legal purposes, shatters. Are you the person born on this timeline, or the one from a previous iteration? This isn't merely a philosophical exercise, it's a fundamental challenge to the societal structures designed to provide order and equity. Our legal systems are inherently backward-looking, relying on established facts and precedents. Time travel would introduce an unprecedented layer of temporal relativity, where a fact could be just a temporary construct. And then there's the economy. Imagine arriving from a future where a cure for a previously incurable disease exists, or where a limitless energy source has been harnessed. Bringing even a small sample of such advanced technology or knowledge back could utterly devastate present-day industries, rendering entire sectors obsolete overnight. The value of currency itself could evaporate if one could simply visit a period of hyperinflation or easily acquire future wealth. It would be like introducing a super fertilizer to a carefully balanced ecosystem. The immediate boom could lead to long-term barrenness, an unchecked growth that collapses under its own weight. The intricate global market, a vast network of supply and demand, would buckle under the strain of unpredictable temporal injections. The stable exchange of goods and services, the very engine of modern civilization, relies on a predictable, linear progression of time and technological advancement. Time travel would make every investment a gamble against an unknown future, or perhaps an unknown past. But beyond the sweeping societal changes, the most profound impacts might unfold within the quiet chambers of the human mind. Imagine the psychological toll on the time traveler themselves, or on those who merely know that time travel is possible. Our sense of self, our very identity, is deeply rooted in our personal narrative, the story of our experiences, memories, and relationships unfolding sequentially. What happens when that narrative becomes fractured? Psychological research, particularly on the malleability of memory, has shown us that our memories are not perfect, immutable recordings like a video camera. Instead, they are reconstructed each time we recall them, influenced by our current beliefs, emotions, and subsequent experiences. This inherent fragility of memory becomes acutely relevant in a time-traveling world. If a significant event in your personal past were altered, perhaps a difficult childhood experience was erased, or a loved one's fate was changed, would your brain simply rewrite its memories? Or would you retain a ghostly echo of the original timeline, creating a profound sense of cognitive dissonance? Your mind would be trying to hold two contradictory realities simultaneously, a deeply unsettling experience that could lead to severe psychological distress, akin to feeling perpetually adrift, unmoored from any stable reality. The anchor of your personal history, once firm, would become a shifting sand bank. The emotional burden would be immense. Consider the weight of witnessing traumatic historical events, reliving personal tragedies, or even knowing the future horrors that might unfold. The mental health implications could be staggering. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is a severe anxiety condition triggered by experiencing or witnessing terrifying events. A time traveler exposed to the suffering of countless epochs or repeatedly reliving their own worst moments in an attempt to fix them could find themselves trapped in an unbearable loop of trauma. The human psyche is designed to process and integrate experience to move forward. Time travel could shatter this fundamental mechanism, forcing an endless confrontation with the past, preventing true healing or resolution. Furthermore, there's the intoxicating lure, the almost addictive quality of temporal manipulation, the ability to correct mistakes, to undo regrettable words, to prevent tragedies. It's a profound temptation. Our brain's reward pathways, those intricate networks involving neurotransmitters like dopamine, are highly responsive to experiences of control, novelty, and success. The high of successfully altering an outcome, even a small one, could become a powerful psychological drive, pushing time travelers to make ever more daring interventions. This isn't just about power. It's about the deep-seated human desire for perfection, for an ideal past, which, in reality, is forever out of reach. This endless pursuit could lead to a profound sense of alienation, a feeling of being disconnected from a natural flow, burdened by a knowledge too vast and a responsibility too heavy for any single mind to bear. This constant flux, this awareness that reality itself is negotiable, could breed a profound sense of existential dread. If the past can be changed, does anything truly matter? Does free will exist if someone from the future already knows your choices, or worse, has influenced them? The very foundations of our philosophical understanding of destiny, agency, and the meaning of life would crumble. Individuals might feel a deep alienation, a sense of not belonging to a fixed moment, a constant passenger on a timeline that never truly settles. The burden of such knowledge, the weight of a potentially infinite number of pasts and futures resting on one's awareness, could be an isolating and overwhelming experience. Imagine carrying the awareness of countless timelines, like seeing through a multifaceted diamond, each facet a slightly different reality, but never knowing which one is true. The societal response to such a destabilized reality would be equally complex. How do we form shared values, a common culture, if our historical touchstones are constantly shifting? How do we grieve a loss if that loss might be undone or retrospectively never happened? The very concept of collective memory, so vital to cultural identity and social cohesion, would fracture into countless temporal shards. It would be like trying to build a lasting sandcastle on a beach where the tide constantly reshapes the shore and every morning brings a different landscape. The warmth of shared stories, the comfort of knowing where we come from, would be replaced by an unsettling uncertainty, a perpetual question mark hanging over every historical event and every personal recollection. The societal narrative, once a sturdy rope binding us together, would fray into countless tenuous strands, each whispering a different version of events. Such are the intricate and often unsettling tapestries woven by the mere possibility of temporal journeys. These profound concerns have haunted not just scientists and philosophers, but storytellers throughout human history, who have woven time travel into our oldest tales and newest dreams. As the day's last light gently fades, let us turn to a realm where the impossible often dances in the moonlight of our imagination, the vast, shimmering landscape of time travel in fiction and mythology. From the very dawn of human storytelling, long before the first gears of a fictional time machine were ever sketched onto paper, our ancestors peered into the mysteries of time. They dreamt of lives lived beyond the reach of a single sunrise and sunset. We find whispers of time's elasticity in ancient myths, where heroes or gods might sleep for centuries, only to awaken unchanged to a world utterly transformed. Think of the Irish legend of Oisin, who rode away to the land of eternal youth, only to return 300 years later, instantly aging and crumbling to dust the moment his feet touched the soil of Ireland. Or the famous American tale of Rip Van Winkle, who, after a nap in the Catskill Mountains, awoke to find 20 years had flown by, his village transformed, and his own identity a faded memory. These early narratives, while not featuring mechanical contraptions, tapped into a profound human longing, the desire to witness the future, to revisit the past, or simply to escape the relentless forward march of moments. They implicitly played with the concept that time, as we perceive it, is not always absolute or unyielding. They presented a world where time could be bent, stretched, or skipped through, often by magical means or divine intervention, laying the groundwork for the more intricate explorations to come. It wasn't until the late 19th century that a true time machine, as we understand it, a vehicle specifically designed to traverse the temporal currents, materialized from the brilliant mind of H.G. Wells. His iconic novel, The Time Machine, published in 1895, didn't just tell a story, it birthed a genre. Wells's time traveler, with his elegant brass and crystal contraption, didn't just experience time differently. He navigated it. He journeyed not merely into a distant future, but actively traveled there, offering us a vivid, tangible image of moving through time as one might move through space. This was a profound shift, suggesting that time itself might be a dimension, much like the three spatial dimensions we inhabit, open to exploration and manipulation. But as soon as we started imagining these temporal journeys, a fascinating, tangled knot began to form: the problem of causality. Causality, in the simplest terms, is the unbreakable chain of cause and effect that governs our universe. Every event is a consequence of a preceding event. It's why a dropped apple falls. Gravity is the cause. The fall is the effect. This fundamental principle is the bedrock of our understanding of reality, ensuring that the universe operates in a predictable, logical sequence. However, when fiction introduces the ability to travel backward in time, this bedrock begins to crack under the weight of logical contradictions, most famously encapsulated in what we call the grandfather paradox. Imagine, if you will, traveling back in time and preventing your own grandfather from meeting your grandmother. If they never meet, your parent is never born, and therefore you are never born. But if you were never born, how could you have gone back in time to prevent their meeting in the first place? It's a loop, a paradox that ties itself in knots, challenging the very fabric of cause and effect. It's like trying to erase the very brushstroke that painted the canvas you're standing on. Our scientific understanding of causality suggests such a scenario is fundamentally impossible, as it creates an event without a coherent origin. Fiction has grappled with this paradox in countless ingenious ways, each solution painting a different picture of time's fundamental nature. Some stories propose a fixed timeline, a universe where all events, past, present, and future, are already set in stone, like a pre-written play. In this view, any attempt to change the past is destined to fail, perhaps even becoming the very cause of the event you intended to prevent. You become an unwitting instrument of fate, like a river always finding its way back to its preordained course, no matter how many pebbles you throw in. This echoes a concept in theoretical physics known as the block universe model, where time is not a flowing river, but a static four-dimensional block. Every moment, past, present, and future, exists simultaneously, like all the pages of a book, already written, waiting to be read. If this were true, then any journey through time would simply be navigating through different pages of this already existing cosmic book, unable to alter its contents. Other fictional narratives, however, embrace the idea of a malleable timeline. Here, the past can be changed, but with potentially catastrophic consequences, often referred to as temporal ripples or butterfly effects. A small alteration, like a butterfly flapping its wings in the past, can lead to a hurricane in the future. These stories often serve as cautionary tales, highlighting the immense responsibility and inherent dangers of meddling with the delicate threads of time. They suggest a more dynamic universe, where the future is not yet determined, and every action, even one reaching into the past, carves a new path. And then there's the popular and elegant solution of branching universes, or the multiverse theory. Instead of causing a paradox, traveling back in time and making a change simply creates an entirely new, alternate timeline or parallel universe. When you go back and save your grandfather, you don't erase your existence. You merely splinter off into a new reality where that change occurred, leaving your original timeline and the you that was born in it intact. This idea, surprisingly, finds some resonance in quantum physics, where some interpretations suggest the possibility of multiple universes, each representing a different outcome of quantum events. It allows our fictional heroes to rewrite history without breaking the fundamental laws of causality within any single universe, neatly sidestepping the paradoxes by creating an infinite tapestry of possibilities. What's truly fascinating is how these fictional narratives, whether featuring a steampunk machine, a magical portal, or a superhero's cosmic power, invariably force us to confront profound questions about reality, free will, and the very nature of existence. They allow us to play with concepts that are, from a scientific standpoint, incredibly challenging, if not currently impossible. While science often talks about the immense energy requirements, the need for exotic matter, or the theoretical impossibility of backward time travel due to the relentless arrow of entropy, the universe's natural tendency towards increasing disorder. Fiction simply says, what if? It provides the imaginative leap, the grand thought experiment that fuels our curiosity and expands our conceptual understanding. And ultimately, our enduring fascination with time travel in fiction and mythology isn't just about the thrill of adventure. It's a reflection of our deepest hopes and fears, the longing to right past wrongs, to relive cherished moments, to glimpse the unknown future, or to escape the consequences of the present. These stories are a testament to the human spirit's boundless imagination, allowing us to playfully explore the greatest mystery of all, the enigmatic flow of time itself. These stories, with their branching timelines and paradoxical loops, have anticipated something remarkable, a concept that scientists now take seriously. What if fiction's wildest dreams are actually rooted in the strange mathematics of reality itself? As we gently ponder the fabric of time, we find ourselves at the edge of an even grander vista, the multiverse. What if every single choice you've ever made, every fork in the road, every decision, however small, didn't just lead you down one path while closing off others? What if, instead, at each of those countless junctures, the universe itself branched and lull? This isn't just a flight of fancy, but a profound implication stemming from one of the most enigmatic corners of quantum mechanics, the very science that governs the tiniest particles of our reality. When we observe a quantum particle, it doesn't just have a property, like spin up or spin down. It exists in a cloud of all possibilities, a state known as superposition. It's only when we measure it that it seems to choose one outcome. But what if it doesn't choose at all? What if, instead, at that precise moment of measurement, the universe itself divides, with each possible outcome unfolding in its own entirely separate reality? This is the core idea of the many worlds interpretation, MWI, of quantum mechanics, first proposed by physicist Hugh Everett III in 1957. Picture it like a shimmering, infinitely branching river. Each ripple on the surface, each eddy, represents a quantum event, and every time the river meets a rock, splitting its flow, that's a new universe coming into being. So in one universe, the electron spun up, and in another, it spun down. In one universe, you chose the coffee, and in another, you chose the tea. In one universe, that distant star winked out, and in another, it still shines. All possibilities, eternally unfurling, like an endless, silent cosmic ballet. It's a thought that can feel both disorienting and liberating. It suggests that every single what-if scenario you've ever contemplated isn't just a fantasy, but a vibrant, living reality playing out somewhere, in some branch of this grand, cosmic tree. If you were to travel back in time in this framework, you wouldn't necessarily be changing your past, but rather shifting your consciousness or presence to a different branch of the multiverse, one where events unfolded precisely as you willed them to. No paradoxes, no erased histories, just new stories, endlessly told in an infinite cosmic library. But the multiverse isn't just about quantum choices and branching timelines. Theoretical physicists have also explored other breathtaking possibilities for parallel realities, born from different corners of our understanding of the universe. Imagine, for instance, our entire observable universe, all the stars, galaxies, and cosmic structures we can ever hope to see, as just one tiny bubble in an infinitely vast ocean of other bubbles. This idea stems from theories of cosmic inflation, which suggest that the early universe expanded incredibly rapidly. This rapid expansion, much like a boiling pot of water, could have generated an endless number of such bubble universes, each one potentially governed by its own set of fundamental physical laws and constants. Think of a giant cosmic foam, where each bubble is a complete self-contained cosmos, possibly with different dimensions, different forces, and even different forms of life or matter we can't even begin to conceive. These are not just distant, isolated worlds. Some theories, like string theory, even suggest that our universe could be a brane, a membrane floating in a higher dimensional space, much like a sheet of paper. And in this vast, multi-dimensional expanse, there might be other branes, other universes, existing tantalizingly close to ours, perhaps even interacting with us through gravity or other subtle forces. Imagine two sheets of paper, almost touching, their realities existing side by side, largely unaware of each other, yet subtly influencing each other through unseen ripples. The scale of such ideas is almost impossible to grasp. If there are infinite universes, each with infinite possibilities, then somewhere out there, every single conceivable event is happening. There's a universe where dinosaurs never went extinct, where humans evolved differently, where gravity works in reverse, or where the very concept of time as we know it doesn't exist. There's even a universe where you're listening to this same story, but perhaps with a different ending, or on a different kind of night. These aren't just fantastical tales. They are serious propositions arising from the cutting edge of scientific thought, attempting to answer profound questions about the nature of reality, the fine-tuning of our universe, and the limits of our perception. They challenge our ingrained understanding of the universe as a singular entity and open our minds to a cosmos far richer and more complex than we ever dared to imagine. To contemplate the multiverse is to feel a profound sense of humility, recognizing that our reality, as vast and incredible as it seems, might just be one tiny thread in an unimaginably intricate cosmic tapestry. These theoretical landscapes are beautiful, but they also raise a practical question. Where is the research actually taking us? And so, as we drift deeper into the quiet night, our minds too begin to wander, not just through the memories of our day, but through the boundless realms of possibility that science continually unfurls before us. We've spoken of time itself, that mysterious river. But what about the understanding we might gain to navigate its currents more deliberately? This brings us to the very frontier of human curiosity, the future of time travel research. It's a place where the lines between science fiction and scientific inquiry blur into a beautiful, shimmering horizon. Here, in the quiet hum of laboratories and the deep, contemplative silence of a theorist's study, minds are busy not with building time machines, at least not yet, but with meticulously mapping the very landscapes of time and space, searching for hidden pathways, for the faint whispers of what might be possible. Imagine, if you will, that the universe is not just empty space, but a grand, invisible tapestry, intricately woven. This tapestry is what physicists call space-time, a concept born from Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity. This theory, much like a master weaver's guide, tells us that massive objects, stars, planets, even you and I, don't just sit in this tapestry. They subtly bend and curve its threads. Think of a heavy bowling ball placed on a trampoline. It creates a gentle dimple. A marble rolling nearby follows this curve, not because of some invisible force, but because it's simply following the natural deformation of the surface. This is how gravity works in Einstein's universe. It's the manifestation of space-time curving. And here is where the dreams of time travel research begin to take root. If space-time can be warped by mass, could it be warped so dramatically, so artfully, that its very structure allows for a journey through time? Could we, like skilled navigators, learn to find or even create currents in this cosmic ocean that carry us not just from one place to another, but from one moment to another? This is the fundamental question that continues to inspire the deepest research into the future of time travel. The most enchanting and perhaps the most widely discussed theoretical pathway to navigating space-time in extraordinary ways is through something called a wormhole, or more formally, an Einstein-Rosen bridge. Picture our space-time tapestry again. Now imagine if you could somehow fold this tapestry, bringing two distant points right next to each other, and then, perhaps, poke a tiny hole, creating a short tunnel that connects them. That tunnel, a cosmic shortcut through the vastness of space and time, is essentially what a wormhole is theorized to be. For the future of time travel research, wormholes are like the ultimate cosmic dream. If a wormhole could be created or found and then manipulated, stretched open, stabilized, and perhaps even propped open so it doesn't collapse instantly, it could theoretically offer a way to traverse immense cosmic distances in a blink. The profound leap comes when researchers consider what would happen if one end of such a wormhole were to be moved at very high speeds, close to the speed of light, and then brought back. According to Einstein's theories, time passes differently for objects in motion. The moving end would age less than the stationary end. If you then stepped through the stationary end and emerged from the fast-traveled end, you would theoretically arrive in your own past, or rather, the past of the other end of the wormhole. It's a dizzying thought, a bridge not just across space, but across the river of time itself. However, the challenges that face future researchers in this area are colossal, yet endlessly stimulating. The primary hurdle is what's known as exotic matter. To keep a wormhole open and stable, preventing it from collapsing, theoretical models suggest we would need matter with truly unusual properties, matter that has negative energy density. Imagine a substance that, instead of pulling things towards it like normal gravity, would actually push things away, creating an anti-gravitational effect that could prop open the wormhole's throat. It's like a spring that pushes outwards, forever holding the tunnel apart. Current physics has yet to definitively observe or create such exotic matter. It's a profound theoretical requirement for these space-time manipulations. So, a significant branch of future time travel research isn't just about building the bridge itself. but about understanding the fundamental nature of energy and perhaps discovering or even harnessing new forms of matter or energy that could possess these elusive negative mass or energy properties. Researchers are meticulously exploring quantum fields, looking for any theoretical pathways, any faint glimmer of how such a substance might arise, even fleetingly, within the quantum realm. Plus, beyond wormholes, another captivating theoretical concept that fuels future time travel research is the Alcubierre drive, often imagined as a warp drive from beloved stories. Instead of folding space or creating a tunnel, imagine if you could create a bubble of warped space-time around your spacecraft. Inside this bubble, everything would remain perfectly normal, but outside the bubble, space itself would be dramatically compressed in front of you and expanded behind you. Picture a ship gently floating within a calm, still pool. Now, imagine that the pool itself, the very water, is being stretched and squeezed around your ship, propelling the ship forward by moving the space around it, rather than moving the ship through space. This ingenious theoretical mechanism would allow a vessel to travel at speeds that appear to be faster than light without actually violating Einstein's cosmic speed limit, because the ship itself isn't moving faster than light. Within its local space-time bubble, it's merely riding a wave of distorted space. For future researchers, the Alcubierre drive presents a fascinating mathematical puzzle. Like wormholes, it too requires a substantial amount of that elusive exotic matter with negative energy density to create the warp bubble. The energy requirements are currently astronomical, yet the mathematical framework exists. Researchers are not just dreaming of faster-than-light travel. They are meticulously calculating, simulating, and trying to find shortcuts, ways to achieve these effects with less exotic or perhaps even conventional forms of energy. It's a quest to understand if the universe has a hidden gear shift that allows us to play with the very fabric of reality in such a profound way. And then there's the incredibly subtle yet profound contribution from the world of quantum mechanics, that strange and wondrous realm of the very small. While quantum entanglement doesn't offer a direct path to time travel as we imagine it, it profoundly deepens our understanding of the universe's interconnectedness. When two particles become entangled, they become linked in such a way that the state of one instantly influences the state of the other, no matter how vast the distance separating them. This phenomenon cannot be used to transmit information faster than light, but its implications for how information itself behaves, and for our eventual understanding of quantum gravity, the theory that could unify gravity with quantum mechanics, are immense. Future research in quantum gravity might just reveal deeper secrets about the nature of time itself, offering new lenses through which to view these grand time travel theories. Of course, the journey into the future of time travel research is not without its intricate puzzles and paradoxes, like curious knots in a cosmic thread. The famous grandfather paradox, where one might travel to the past and inadvertently prevent their own birth, highlights the profound logical challenges. But for researchers, these aren't necessarily roadblocks. They are fascinating clues, boundary conditions that push them to refine their theories. Perhaps time has built-in safeguards, or perhaps our understanding of cause and effect needs to evolve to encompass new possibilities. The very act of wrestling with these paradoxes forces us to think more deeply about the universe's fundamental rules, enriching our knowledge even if direct time travel remains eternally out of reach. So, The future of time travel research is less about building a shiny machine tomorrow and more about a persistent, profound quest for knowledge. It's about charting the unseen rivers of space-time, understanding the cosmic weave, and daring to ask the biggest questions about reality itself. This relentless pursuit, this tireless exploration, is a testament to the human spirit's unending curiosity. It expands our minds, broadens our understanding of energy, matter, and the very structure of the cosmos, making us better navigators of the present, regardless of whether we ever truly master the art of stepping into yesterday or tomorrow. And with these vast, swirling possibilities of time and space whispering through our minds, we arrive at the heart of the matter. After all this exploration of theories, mechanisms, and possibilities, we must ask the ultimate question: is time travel truly, fundamentally feasible? Past the gentle hum of the stars and the soft whisper of galaxies, we find ourselves at the heart of one of science's most enduring and enchanting mysteries, the ultimate feasibility debate of time travel. It's a delicate dance between profound theoretical possibility and seemingly insurmountable practical challenges, a conversation where dreams meet the hard logic of the universe. Imagine time not as a rushing river, always flowing forward, but as a vast, shimmering ocean. What if, within this ocean, there were currents that could carry us not just forward, but perhaps even back? The very first glimmer of this possibility arises from Albert Einstein's beautiful tapestry of general relativity. His theories taught us that time isn't a separate, immutable entity, but rather the fourth dimension of space-time, intrinsically woven with the three dimensions of space. This means space-time can be warped and bent, much like a trampoline under a heavy weight. This bending is what we perceive as gravity, but it also means that time itself isn't constant for everyone. We know, for instance, of a subtle form of time travel that is not only theoretically sound, but experimentally proven: time dilation. Clocks tick ever so slightly slower for those moving at very high speeds compared to those standing still, or for those in stronger gravitational fields. Astronauts on the International Space Station, moving at thousands of miles an hour relative to Earth, experience time passing a tiny bit slower than us down below. When they return, they've technically traveled a minuscule fraction of a second into their personal future relative to everyone on Earth. It's not the grand journey we dream of, but it's a tangible bending of time, a ripple in the fabric of existence that whispers of deeper secrets. But what about truly reaching into the past, or leaping vast epochs into the future? Here, the debate truly ignites. General relativity, in its elegant mathematics, does allow for solutions that describe paths through space-time that loop back on themselves, known as closed time-like curves, CTCs. Picture a cosmic highway that, if you follow it long enough, eventually brings you back to the very starting point in time, perhaps even before you began your journey. These theoretical possibilities often arise in extreme gravitational environments, such as near incredibly dense, rapidly spinning black holes, or within hypothetical structures like wormholes. Think of space-time as a flat sheet of paper. To get from one point to another, you usually travel across the surface. But what if you could fold the paper and poke a hole through it, creating a shortcut? That's the essence of a wormhole, a theoretical tunnel or bridge through space-time, connecting two distant points or even two different times. A wormhole could, in theory, allow for instantaneous travel across vast cosmic distances or, with the right configuration, offer a passage to another moment in time. However, to keep such a cosmic tunnel open and stable long enough for something or someone to pass through, physics suggests we would need something incredibly peculiar: exotic matter. This isn't your everyday matter, dear listener. Exotic matter would possess negative energy density, a quality that acts like an anti-gravitational force, pushing space-time apart rather than pulling it together. Imagine trying to hold open a spring that constantly wants to snap shut. Negative energy is the theoretical force that would pry open the wormhole's throat, keeping it from collapsing instantly. Unfortunately, while some quantum phenomena hint at tiny, fleeting regions of negative energy, sustained quantities of exotic matter at the scale needed for a traversable wormhole remain firmly in the realm of theory, a whisper of a possibility rather than a concrete discovery. Wormholes aren't the only theoretical game in town for traversing time or distance. There's also the fascinating concept of the Alcubierre warp drive. Rather than exceeding the speed of light within spacetime, this theoretical engine would cleverly manipulate spacetime itself. It proposes creating a warp bubble around a spacecraft, contracting space in front of the vessel and expanding it behind. The ship itself wouldn't be moving faster than light. Locally, a key tenet of relativity, but the bubble would effectively surf a wave of compressed and expanded space-time, allowing for faster-than-light, effective travel. It's like standing still on a magic carpet while the ground beneath you races forward. Yet once again, the immense energy requirements and the need for exotic matter with negative energy density rear their heads, making it a spectacular dream rather than an imminent reality. So, while physics might offer these tantalizing glimpses, the ultimate feasibility debate often boils down to the sheer, mind-boggling scale of the challenge. The energy required to create and sustain a traversable wormhole or a warp bubble isn't just vast. It's often estimated to be equivalent to the mass of entire planets or even small stars converted into energy. Such power is currently beyond our wildest imaginings, let alone our technological grasp. It's like asking a firefly to generate the energy of a supernova. Then there are the paradoxes, the tangled threads that threaten to unravel the very fabric of causality. The most famous is the grandfather paradox. If you travel back in time and prevent your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you would never be born. But if you were never born, how could you travel back in time to prevent their meeting? It's a cosmic knot, a logical impossibility that seems to scream, no time travel to the past, from the heart of the universe. Another intriguing twist is the bootstrap paradox, or the ontological paradox. Imagine finding a book of Shakespeare's complete works, traveling back to Shakespeare's time, and handing it to him. He then copies it, publishes it, and it becomes the famous collection we know. But where did the original book come from? It has no true origin. It exists in a perpetual loop, a piece of information or an object created without ever truly being created. It's a riddle wrapped in an enigma, challenging our fundamental understanding of cause and effect. Physicist Stephen Hawking, ever the cosmic jester, proposed the dark chronology protection conjecture. This playful yet profound idea suggests that the laws of physics themselves might conspire to prevent time travel to the past, acting as a cosmic sensor. Perhaps any attempt to create a closed, time-like curve would inherently lead to instabilities that destroy it. Or perhaps the exotic matter required would simply refuse to cooperate, dissolving into nothingness the moment it tries to breach the causality barrier. It's as if the universe has a silent, unseen guardian preventing paradoxes from ever truly manifesting, keeping the timeline safe and coherent. And then there's the quiet observation that has haunted many a late-night thought. If time travel to the past or future were truly possible, where are all the tourists? Why aren't we inundated with visitors from tomorrow or even a future millennia? This silence could mean many things. Perhaps time travel is impossible, or perhaps it's possible but so difficult or energy-intensive that it's beyond even advanced civilizations. Maybe future travelers are incredibly discreet, or perhaps they're only able to travel into their past, which isn't our present, due to some branching reality. This last idea, hinted at by the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, suggests that every choice or quantum event splits the universe into multiple parallel realities. If you travel back and change the past, you simply create a new branch, leaving your original timeline untouched, thus elegantly sidestepping the paradoxes. So, as the stars twinkle a little brighter and the moon casts its gentle glow, we are left with a magnificent tension. Our greatest theories hint at doors to other times, but our understanding of reality simultaneously places colossal locks on them. The ultimate feasibility debate isn't just about what's possible, but about what the universe allows, what it tolerates, and what profound secrets it still holds. We stand at the precipice of imagination, gazing into a future where the possibility of time travel remains a dazzling, distant horizon, a scientific siren song that continues to inspire our curiosity and push the boundaries of our understanding. As we ponder the cosmic ballet of time and space, we realize that perhaps the most profound journey is not through time itself, but through our understanding of it, a journey we've taken together tonight. My dear little time traveler, our gentle journey through the corridors of what could be slowly, ever so slowly, begins to wind down. We've drifted on currents that might carry us to yesterday's quiet moments, and imagined sailing on winds that could sweep us into tomorrow's unknown dawns. We haven't built a grand machine of steel and light, no, but we've built something far more wonderful and enduring together. A quiet contemplation, a gentle space in our minds where the very idea of time's flow can be felt, pondered and held with soft curiosity. Think back, if you will, to the faint echoes of the past we touched upon, not with the rumble of a time engine, but with the soft whisper of memory, the ancient stories held within the very dust of our world. We imagined visiting times long gone, not to change them, but simply to observe, to understand, to feel the gentle weight of history upon our shoulders, a comforting blanket woven from countless yesterdays. It's a humbling thought, isn't it, to consider all that has been, all the quiet moments that unfolded long before we arrived, shaping the world into the beautiful, intricate tapestry it is today. And yet, none of it is truly gone. It lives on, not just in books or photos, but in the very fabric of existence, a silent hum of all that once was, always a part of the now, if we only listen closely enough. And the future. Oh, the shimmering, unwritten future. We peered, not with certainty, but with gentle hope, into the vast, open pages yet to be filled. We didn't try to dictate its course or demand to know its secrets. Instead, we simply acknowledged its presence. A horizon always receding, always inviting, full of possibilities as numerous as the stars above us. It's a wonderful thought, isn't it, to know that so much beauty, so much discovery, so much peace might lie ahead, waiting for us to greet it with open hearts and gentle spirits. The future isn't a fixed destination, but a path we gently walk, each step a quiet ripple in the great ocean of time. We spoke of the very nature of time itself, not as a rigid line, but perhaps as something more fluid, more akin to a gentle river, or even a vast, deep ocean where past, present, and future are all connected, all part of the same grand, unfolding mystery. The theories, the ideas, the quiet ponderings, they aren't meant to give us all the answers, but to open our minds to the sheer wonder of the questions, to simply sit with the immensity of time, to feel its steady, rhythmic pulse, is a profound experience in itself. It's a reminder that we are part of something so much larger than ourselves, a tiny, precious moment within an endless, majestic dance. There's a certain calm, isn't there, in allowing our thoughts to stretch across such vast distances, to embrace concepts that feel as big as the universe itself. It's a peace that comes from surrendering to the mystery, from simply appreciating the beautiful enigma that time presents. We don't need to unravel every knot to admire the exquisite pattern of the tapestry. Sometimes the most profound understanding comes not from knowing how something works, but from simply marveling that it is. And now, as the night deepens around us and the world outside softens into quiet slumber, let those grand ideas settle gently within your heart. Let the quiet contemplation of time's endless journey become a lullaby for your curious mind. There's no rush, no urgency in these ponderings, just a deep, peaceful breath, acknowledging the beauty of change, the constant flow of moments, and the serene continuity of existence. Close your eyes now, little time traveler. Feel the soft comfort of your bed, the gentle rhythm of your own breath. The journey we took together, though it was only in our thoughts, has enriched the landscape of your inner world. It has whispered secrets of infinite possibilities and boundless wonder. Let those whispers become softer now, fading into the background like distant starlight. As you drift into sleep, know that the most beautiful journeys often continue without us even knowing. Your dreams, those wondrous landscapes of your mind, are ready to welcome you. Perhaps there, in that magical space between waking and sleeping, you might find yourself once more, gently floating through a timeless realm, or peacefully exploring moments past, present, or future. Perhaps you'll simply dream of the quiet beauty of a starlit night, or the soft light of a new morning, embodying the very essence of time's gentle progression. Sleep well, sweet one. May your dreams be as vast and as peaceful as the gentle flow of time itself. The journey never truly ends. It simply transforms peacefully, beautifully, into the quiet magic of your dreams. Good night, little time traveler. Good night.